Jewel Christian here with me. We're doing another cast release for Breaking Strongholds season 2. Jewel, would you just take a minute to introduce yourself?
I'm Jewel Christian, and I'm an actor, and I am so excited to be a part of Breaking Stronghold season 2. This is like a long time coming, so I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to get to work with the cast and crew in just a short time.
I'm going to brag about you a little bit. You were on
Okay.
CSI New York, House, Edge of Salvation, April Run, Stilling the Show, Chasing Hope, and your latest role, Breaking Strongholds. And I've looked at a couple of the roles you've played before. You've played a nurse, a police officer, a few villains, a dying lady opposite of Gary Sinise. What has been your favorite role and why, or one of your favorites? Maybe you have a couple.
Really good question. I was a strangulation victim.
Oh,
I
okay.
was a strangulation victim with Gary Sinise. Yes, it was tragic. Like every role I get to do, there's something unique about it and something that I end up discovering about myself while preparing for that role. For example, I played a cop in a movie called Edge of Salvation, and I just having to, it was more of a detective cop type thing. And I was like, I don't know, can I pull that off? And I actually have a lot of like detective justice cop stuff in me that kind of came out when I was I'm like, well, no, this is exactly where I would want to know this, and make sure that this is solved and this is taken care of. And, so I was like, interesting, like that kind of thing. Or I played a mother on House MD before I was a mom. And my daughter had brain cancer. I studied comedy and I ended up getting all these like tragic, emotional, draining roles. But it was like just being in that role and putting myself in that situation and caring for this child who I just genuinely came to love, made me realize like what my mom must feel or what parents must feel. Like it kind of just gave me a sense of that. And then how I would one day really love to be a mom. Okay. And then I'll give you another example. The villain role, you want to call it, for Stealing the Show. She had some spunk to her, but I realized that there was a lot of like some spunk in me that I'm like, okay, this is kind of good. It was convicting in some ways, like, oh yeah, maybe I'm a little bit selfish there, or I could see where I could get that way.
Can you tell a little bit about how you got became a part of the production, a part of Breaking Strongholds? You can share as much or as little as you want.
Okay. So the first time I heard of Breaking Strongholds, I was actually on the set of Stealing the Show, and I was working with Christine Tonkin, who I believe was the performance director at the time. And she was like, we got to wrap because I got to be back in Texas. No idea. Didn't even cross my mind that I would one day be a part of it. But I was like, that sounds awesome. So that was kind of like the seed was kind of, I heard the show. And then I went to Content in February 2020, and you guys showed your first episode. And I was like, wow, this is really cool how they're basically taking such a important issue that everybody can relate to, whether they've been touched by it personally or know someone who has, and they're addressing it in a way that's creative and entertaining and kind of like this cop drama thing, which I love that genre. And then I ran into Carla McDougal coming out of the restroom, and then her and I just clicked and connected. And they asked if I would help maybe do some like coaching with some of the actors from afar. Again, I'm like, I'm not in Texas. I'm never gonna get to work on this show, but what can I do to support you guys and help you guys? And so I did a couple sessions with a couple of the actors and just like how to break down a script and stuff like that. And it was super fun, just playing fun for me. And then they're like, well, we think it'd be great if you could be in it. And I was like, really? Because I would absolutely love that. But I was like, I don't know how that would even work. If I could pick a character to play, this would be like it. So it was just like ding, 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 ding. I felt like there was like the lights were going off, and it was like, God was like, be a part, join. And it was such an honor to be a part of this team.
So going back to Content Christian Film Festival.
The thing at Content was by far the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done, because they called it a cold read, but in actuality, it was a blind read. Literally, I was at a table, they gave me a script, and it was upside down, and we weren't even allowed to turn it over until we were up on stage, if you will. And so we didn't know if it was comedy, if it was drama. I mean, I wasn't able to like plan, like what's my want, what's my obstacle, what's my intention, hit the joke, make a beat. There's no planning at all. It was literally like fly by the seat of your pants. And so I get up there, I'm already nervous. I get up there with my scene partner, very talented, thankfully, very talented scene partner. And I flip the page. We don't even know who has the first line. Flip the page, and Terry, it's not even in English. It's like this French word. I didn't speak French. I'm like, I think this is French. And I just jumped in. I was like, Monsieur, and I did this like French accent, didn't even know what we were doing, and just took on this persona and did this whole scene with this French accent. And it was absolutely terrifying. Like I literally was like, what just happened?
That was a great performance, and you guys stood out in my memory. You and Gary
Oh,
Nation, very
yeah,
talented,
Gary, he's
stood out.
great. He's great.
Yeah. So okay, fast forward. Tell us a little bit about your role in Breaking Strongholds and how you're preparing for that.
Her name, I can give her name and everything. Her name.
Sure.
Okay. Her name is Athena. Comes on the scene and it's like, who is this person? So that's one thing I do to prepare. I always try to read the whole story, start to finish, because it's as much as you as the actor, like my character is the most important character. It's really, no, you're really trying to tell the story. The story is the main thing. So how does my character serve the story? She comes on the scene with a bang. I am so excited. I'm not gonna give it away, but I'm so excited about shooting that entrance. Her entrance alone is just like, wow. You guys are taking it to another level. I gotta be honest. So my character's she's delicious is how I would describe her. Robin has given her a lot of layers. She's very driven and focused. We've always been taught not to villainize your character, not to judge, the character that you're playing. So I have been reading her and practicing my lines and why she says why she does what she does. So that's like my job as an actor. Like, why is she the way she is? Like, what happened to make her do the things that she is currently doing? And I have to not only figure that out, but then also be so natural with it and so okay with it by the time I get on set as her, because she doesn't think she's doing anything wrong.
So can you give us just a quick peek into her backstory, what you're using, what's going on?
That I created?
Yes, that you
created.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Terry, that's private. No, I'm sure. No, I mean, I'm just kidding. So I go through, I think about her upbringing. I try to figure out what her relationship was. And I mean, I make all this up. Like, I don't know, like it's not in the script. This is all just something I've come up with. The way she interacts with men. Why does she interact the way with men? She's very confident. I mean, she literally can just squash someone. And I hope I'm not giving away too much. She has a presence. And so I think what was her relationship with her father, and where did that come from? Did she have to fight something and come, you know what I mean? Or so you can make a choice. So I've made a choice that her dad was incredibly strong and she felt like she was always failing him. And then she finally was like, no, I'm just going to be like, whatever. And then it was her way or the highway. And so she just got really tough because she had to do that to survive. You do all this homework and you do all this preparation and you do all this backstory, whatever. And then you get there and then it literally is like, throw it out the window.
Well, your role is a big, exciting, complicated role. So I'm excited to watch it. And I'm excited for the Breaking Strongholds audience to see it and really kind of latch onto this character. And we're talking about some very important things in culture, but we're also entertaining people. And I think your character is going to be hugely entertaining. So why don't we end with you telling the audience what you like about the Breaking Strongholds writing or the show, or if there's anything that stood out that kind of draws you to the project. I know you screened it a couple times, you've watched the show, and now you're a part of it. So
I love the way, I kind of hinted this earlier, but I love the way that they're using a creative, entertaining genre to address such a serious need. I mean, like suicide and mental illness is so important. I've struggled with depression. When I was 22, I was incredibly depressed. I never tried to kill myself, but I was at the place where I thought life would be better without me. My family would be better without me. You believe these lies, and it's such a scary, isolating place. And you really think that you would be doing someone a favor by leaving, and it's such a lie. And so I am so passionate about exposing that lie and also exposing what needs to happen to help people who are in that situation. I was a director for high school kids for like 8 years in Chicago, and in my time doing that, I had so many kids that were cutting themselves and suicidal and hurting themselves. And it just broke my heart. And because they're worth so much, they're worth so much. And seeing that, like, sometimes it's easier to see that for other people than for yourself. Like, you feel like, well, I'm just blah, blah, blah. But then you see, like, but that's how God sees all of us. And so I'm so passionate about people knowing their worth, people not buying into the lies that they're not good enough, or that they're not worth anything, or that this life is not worth living, because this life is so worth living. There is such freedom, and there is such hope, and there is such victory through Christ. And so Breaking Strongholds, I mean, the title says it all. And I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but I'm so passionate about this mission. And the fact, Terry, that you pointed out, this is global. Like, I think we had more views in India last week than in America. I mean, like, this is reaching people across the country, which I have a passion for missions as well. So it meets all my favorite things, if you will. So, and the writing is fantastic. Robin, she's so genius. I mean, like, as I was going through reading, I was like, thought I figured Athena out. And then I would be like, oh no, oh, and then, oh no, what, and so the writing is just so good. And there's like all these little twists and turns and surprises. The second season is just going to blow people's mind. I mean, I was like, I couldn't wait to read the next one. I couldn't wait to read the next one. I couldn't wait to read the next one. So it's just a great thing. And you guys do your leadership team. You guys are prayerful. You guys are kind. You've been so good to work with. You really are about the show and the mission, but also taking care of your people. And that rings through, and that rings true. So, I don't know, that I just went on way too long, but I'm genuinely passionate about the project and the team and the crew. So,
well, I can sense your passion, and it's infectious. So I'm excited to have you as a part of the cast, and I know you're going to do some amazing things on camera, and we're going to do some good together. So thanks for doing this with us.
Thank you, Terry.
And
Thank you so much.
we'll see you on set and on screen.